Chapter 5.1, Calculating Simple Interest. The warm-up should be completed independently before listening to this lesson. If you need to reference, you may pause the video and check your answers at this time. You may also reference the answer key that is posted on our classroom. Let's begin at the bottom of the first page of 5.1, Understanding Savings and Interest. Financial institutions compete with each other to handle your savings. They pay clients money as an incentive. The amount of money that the bank pays you is called interest. Okay, so you can open up a savings account that collects interest. Okay, and remember that the interest is the money that is building up that the bank is paying you. So you're growing your money. Okay, the amount of money that is grown, we call that interest. Now, different banking institutions, they compete with each other by offering better interest rates in order to entice customers to bank with them instead of an alternative institution. So when you want to grow your money, do your research first. Okay, compare different banking institutions and different savings accounts that they offer. You want to grow your money as much as possible, so you want to have an interest rate that's as high as possible. So let's look at example 1. Rich receives $500 for his birthday. He deposits the money into an account so he can save for a car. The car costs $5,000. If Rich's bank pays him 10% interest per year, how much interest will Rich earn in 1 year? So he puts $500 into this account, and the bank is paying him 10% interest per year. So in 1 year, how much interest is collected? So you're going to take your initial $500 and you're going to multiply it by the decimal form of 10%. So 10% in decimal form is 0.10. So using your calculator, 500 times 0.10 is equal to $50. So in 1 year, Rich's $500 will grow $50. So the interest is $50. If Rich's bank pays him 1% interest per year, how much interest will the bank pay him in 1 year? So in question 1, the bank is paying Rich 10% interest. Now in question 2, the bank is paying him only 1% interest. So the same question, the interest has just changed. Okay, so how much will Rich make with 1% interest in 1 year? So again, we're going to take our initial amount, $500, and we're going to multiply it by the decimal form of 1%, $5. So one bank in part A is offering him 10% interest on his $500. So his $500 will grow $50 in 1 year. In B, the bank is offering him 1% interest. So in 1 year, his $500 is only growing $5. And that's why it's important to do your homework. Going back to what I said, that you should, before you invest your money into a savings account, make sure that you have ensured that that is the best savings account for your money, that it'll grow your money as much as possible. Part C, at the interest rate in part B, how much interest will Rich earn if he leaves the $500 in an account for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. So the interest rate in Part B is 1%. Okay. How much interest will Rich earn if he leaves the $500 in account for 2 years? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our interest for 1 year, and we're going to multiply by however number of years it says. So the first option is 2 years, and then 3 years, and then 4 years, and then 10 years. So the interest in Part B we determined was $5. So we're going to take our $5 and we're going to multiply it by the number of years. So the first one is 2 years. So $5 times 2 years is $10. Okay. Next, 3 years. So $5 times 3 years, that is $15. Next, $5 in 1 year times 4 years, that's $20. And finally, $5 in 1 year times 10 years, that is $50. Suggest another plan for Rich to achieve his goal. Remember, his goal is this car, which is $5,000. So I would suggest that Rich invests his money in a higher interest account, okay? Because his $500 is not going to grow to $5,000 very quickly in a savings account with just 1% interest. So he needs a savings account that will grow his money faster. In order to calculate the interest that Rich would earn in 10 years, what 3 values did you multiply together? Well, we multiplied 1 and 5 together because in 1 year, he earned $5. And then we multiplied that $5 in 1 year by how many years his money was sitting in that savings account, which was 10 years. So 1 times 5 times 10. The amount of money that is originally saved or invested is called the principal. Principal is also called the present value. So how much are you putting into your savings account at this very moment? So in the previous question, Rich was investing $500. That was the original amount of money. The interest earned is calculated by multiplying the principal by the interest rate, by the length of time the money is invested. So the interest earned is equal to the principal times the interest rate times how much time it's in that account. Use these abbreviations for the terms used to calculate interest. So interest earned is capital I. The interest rate is lowercase r. The principal or present value, so principal is P. If you're going to use present value, it's PV. And then time is T. So to calculate simple interest, we use the formula I is equal to PRT. Interest earned is equal to the principal times the interest rate times time. Since the interest rate is always stated as the percent per year, time is always measured in years. Okay, so that's important to know that your time value should always be according to years, not months, not days, not weeks, years. This type of interest calculation is called simple interest. Interest rates can change. The federal government sets interest rates. Financial institutions change their interest rates to follow the federal government rates. A Canadian bank posts the following table on their website. A term deposit or money deposited in a bank for a set amount of time pays simple interest. So let's read this information. Okay, so if you want to invest your money for 1 year, interest is 2.95%. If you want to invest your money for 2 years, the interest is higher. If you want to invest your money for 3 years, again, the interest rate is higher. And finally, for 5 years, the highest interest rate is offered to you. Now, this is done on purpose. The bank wants your business. They want you to be a client with them for as long as possible. The banks will give you the best offer for the longest period you'll stay with them. Remember, we call that term. Okay, the term is a set amount of time that you are banking with an institution. So the longer you bank with an institution, the better rate they're going to give you. Calculate the interest earned in each case on a term deposit of $2,000. The first one is done for you. So the present value is $2,000. How much are you putting into the account at the start? Then the rate for 1 year is 2.95%. And remember, your interest earned is the principal times the rate times the number of years. So our principal or present value is always the same, $2,000 for A through D. The rates are different. Okay, so for 2 years, the rate is 3.10%. For 3 years, it's 3.15%. And then for 5 years, it's 3.30%. Okay, so remember, our formula is I is equal to PRT. Okay, so I is equal to our principal times our rate in decimal form, because that's how we had to put it into the calculator, times how many years. That equals 124. Okay, next row, our interest earned is equal to our principal times interest rate in decimal form times the number of years. That equals 189. Okay, and finally, our interest earned is equal to our principal times our rate in decimal form times number of years. Okay, so obviously, if you invest your money for a longer period of time, you're going to earn more money. So for 1 year, you'll earn $59. For 2 years, you'll earn $124. 3 years, $189. In 5 years, your $2,000 will grow $330. The future value is the amount the principal will be worth in the future. So your future value is equal to your principal. So how much did you start with? How much did you put into the account at the beginning? Plus your interest. So going back to this chart at the top, we're going to determine our future value. So remember, your principal is always $2,000, or your present value is always $2,000. How much are you putting into the account on day 1? Okay, now our interest is highlighted in yellow. For 2 years, our $2,000 grew $124. 3 years, our $2,000 grew $189. And then for 5 years, $2,000 grew $330. So remember, our future value is equal to our principal plus our interest earned. So FV is equal to $2,000 plus our $124, which is equal to $2,124. For C, our future value is again our $2,000 and then plus $189. So your future value is $2,189. And then finally for D, our original $2,000 that we deposited on day one plus the interest earned is our future value. How much money can we then take out after 5 years? Last page. Every year, the federal government sells Canada Savings Bonds. Series 116 regular bonds were issued on January 1st, 2009 and paid 1.65% interest in their first year. Regular interest bonds earn simple interest. The interest stops when the bond gets cashed or the term of the bond ends, whichever comes first. The simple interest is paid to the owner of the bond each year on the anniversary of purchase until the bond matures, which is when the term of the bond ends. So we understand that the term is how long our money is invested into an account. It's similar to what a bond ending means. So the end of a temporary investment. Okay, so in question 5, Carrie has bought a $3,000 savings bond. So we're going to use the simple interest formula to calculate the interest she will be paid in 1 year after buying the bond. Now, remember, it says that you earn 1.65% interest every year on the anniversary. So the anniversary for Carrie is May 15th. So every year on May 15th, Carrie earns 1.65% interest, simple interest. So remember that the simple interest formula is I is equal to PRT. So the interest that Carrie will earn is her principal amount, which was $3,000. $3,000 times the rate, which is highlighted at the top, 1.65% in decimal form, times, it says that she just invests it in for 1 year. The term of the bond ends in 1 year. So the interest earned is, multiplying those three values together, $49.50. Okay, so Carrie's $3,000 will grow $49.50 after 1 year in the Canada Savings Bond. Carrie decides to cash the bond on October 15th. So how long is that? Remember, she invested on May 15th. Okay, so October 15th is only 5 months later. Okay, so in a year, that's only 5 out of 12 months. That's fraction form. So Carrie won't actually receive her total $49.50 because that's how much she would get if her $3,000 was in the account for 1 whole year. So she's only going to receive a partial amount of that money. I'm going to start off by writing out my formula again. So I'm trying to determine her interest earned in 5 months, not 1 year. So her principal is still $3,000. I'm going to multiply that by the rate, the same rate. So 0.0165. And then I'm going to multiply that by 5 months. Now remember, it needs to be expressed in years, not months. And that's why over here, we determine the fraction form of 5 months. So 5/12 months, if we convert that to a decimal, I take my numerator and divide it by my denominator. That leads me to 0.1467. So I'm going to insert that into my formula. Okay, so remember, it's not 1 year as it was up here. It's 5 months, which is 0.4167 years. Okay, and now when you put that into your calculator, $20.63. Okay, so instead of $49.50 after 1 year, Carrie will receive $20.63 after 5 months. At the bottom of the final page of this lesson, we have our Check Your Understanding questions. These questions should be completed right after listening to this lesson, and they should be completed independently. Please pause the video and check your answers with mine, or you may reference the answer key that's posted online. If you have any questions about today's lesson, please message me or email me.